September 29th, 1983 was my 4th birthday. It was also the night of Scotland's most notorious and brutal unsolved murder dubbed the Cheesewire murder. George Murdoch was an Aberdeen taxi driver. Murdoch was born and raised in Aberdeen and was described as a likable individual who was just an ordinary working man. He had been happily married for 37 years to his wife Jessie. In the late 1970s, his job at a factory was not earning enough money. To make ends meet, he took up work as a taxi driver, although he didn't particularly like the job, and his wife worried about his safety on the night shifts. He insisted to his wife that she didn't need to worry and said that if anyone ever tried to attack and rob him, he would never fight them and would just hand over the money. Thursday, September 29, 1983, 58-year-old Murdoch was working an evening shift. It was a late-night shopping evening in Aberdeen, and the city was busy. At around 8:30 p.m., his Ford Cortina car was seen parked in the busy Queens Road in Aberdeen as he picked up a fare in his taxi. His taxi had been flagged down by a man in his 20s. Murdoch radioed through to taxi control room that he and his fare were heading to Cutler on the western outskirts of the city. What happened as the taxi headed out of town is unclear, but about 2 miles down the road, the fare must have told George to take a detour. The streets became darker and more deserted, and in Station Road, George's passenger told him to stop. A struggle then ensued, and police believe the passenger's motive for attacking George was to rob him. As the pair struggled, they spilled out onto the road where 2 boys passing on their bikes witnessed Murdoch being strangled. Murdoch was desperately calling for help, and the 2 boys raced to call the police, but the police did not arrive in time, and the attacker killed Murdoch. The murder weapon, the Cheesewire, was found at the scene. George was found by a passerby laying by his blood-spattered sky blue taxi and used his car radio to call for help. The killer stole Murdoch's fare money and wallet, which only had about 21 pounds on him. Detective Inspector Gary Winter from Police Scotland's major investigation team said the taxi was not booked, so there was no record of who the customer was.